everyone, my name's Sophie and I'm a mum of two, Oliver who's 6 and Ivy who is 4 months old, so you'll probably hear her or see her in this video. She's quite grumpy today, so let's hope we can get through this. This is actually one of my first ever videos. I'm quite nervous, so I hope I'm not all over the place, but I do want to talk about something that's quite important to me and my family at the moment. And that is basically that Ivy was born with a cleft palate. I want to speak about this because I want to raise awareness about it, because I was never savvy to what it was when I was told about her having it. It was quite a shock and I didn't really understand what it was. It was quite worrying. And if I can help that one person that's had a baby recently or is going through the same thing, then I've done what I wanted to do. Because when I had her, like, I knew nothing. They literally said to me, she's got a cleft palate, we're taking her, we're putting a tube up her nose, see you later. I was a bit like, oh wow, what on earth is this? Like, I've got no clue what this is. No one or nothing can prepare you for it. So I just want to quickly speak about it. I will probably do a video more in depth about what happened, but this is just basically like an introduction to what's been going on. So Ivy was born via C-section on the 4th of November. It was planned, so there was no issues before. It was more me, and that was my decision. So, and it went perfectly. She come out, she was absolutely perfect. She still is perfect, and it went great. When we went into recovery, you're encouraged to basically feed your baby, and I chose to feed Ivy via bottle, which actually I'm kind of glad that I did now, because I probably wouldn't have known any better if I was breastfeeding, because I wouldn't know that she wasn't being able to eat. So basically, from what I've said, she was having the bottle. Looked like she knew what she's doing. She was sucking away like any baby does when they have a bottle. She looked absolutely perfect doing it. However, when we removed the bottle away from her to have a look at how much she was having, it hadn't actually gone down at all. There were 5ml bottles, I think, and when we took the bottle away, it was still at 5ml, and this just continued throughout the day, in recovery and on the ward. So the only thing that I did notice as well is that there was specks of milk come out of her nose straight away when we put the bottle in her mouth. But because it had been 6 years since I had my last baby, I couldn't remember whether that was like normal or not. Yeah, so like I said, throughout the day we kept trying to feed Ivy her bottle, but none of it was coming down. We did speak to the midwives about it, and they said not to worry, because sometimes when babies are born via C-section, they're just not hungry, because they're fed right up until the last minute when they're born, because they're just taken straight out. Whereas when they're born naturally, there's hours and hours and hours where they just aren't fed, and also from what they go through as well as what you go through, it can be very exhausting and tiring and use up a lot of energy, so they're very hungry when they arrive. So I wasn't particularly worried, but then when it kind of got late, I was a bit like, this isn't right, and I was a bit worried, and I kind of picked up Ivy and had a little look at her, but also in the back of my head sort of thinking like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's happening? Why are you not eating? I mean, she wasn't unhappy, she was never crying, she didn't seem distressed in any way, but she just wasn't eating. So I was quite worried, and as if she knew what I was thinking, she yawned, and I saw her hole at the back of her throat, which then I kind of just knew that wasn't right. But I didn't. You hear about cleft palates and cleft lips throughout your pregnancy, You do hear about it, but I know nothing about it. It's not like they sit there and say to you, right, this is a cleft palate, this is your cleft lip, this is a cleft, like this is this. Go through certain scenarios, and it's just not talked about in pregnancy, really. I think the only time it was talked about to me was to make sure you take your folic acid, because it can cause this, that and the other, and they were talking about all these little things that it can stop. And yeah, I kind of beat myself up for things like that, because I couldn't take folic acid, because as soon as I took it in the morning, I'd throw it straight back up again. Like, it just didn't like me. I just couldn't keep that tablet down at all. So for a long time, I beat myself up thinking that was the reason why Ivy has her cleft. But I now know that that's not the case at all. These things just happen, and there's no reason or rhyme for it. And I mean, I've had to speak to her specialist a lot about this, because it really upset me. I felt like this was all my fault, because I didn't form her right. I beat myself up for a long time over it. And this is why it's taken me 4 months to make this video. Quickly going back to me finding the hole in the back of her throat. I kept that very quiet. I'm really sorry about the lighting. It's terrible in here. I kept quiet about that. My family was there and I didn't say anything until the midwife came and asked if I needed anything or if Ivy had had any of her bottle. Then I mentioned it, and I sort of said to her, look, I think I know the answer to this question, but is the hole in the back of her throat gonna close up by itself? To which she sort of was like, oh, no, let me have a look. So she did have a look. She didn't see anything or feel anything. Ivy was tiny. She was only £6.15. So when she was born, she was so small, and when she cried and stuff, you couldn't see in her mouth. It was only when she yawned you could actually see it, and even until recently, like, it was only when she yawned. When she cried, you couldn't see it. Anything like that, couldn't see it. So, she got a paediatrician to come have a look, but again, the paediatrician couldn't see anything, so I asked if she could take Ivy into NICU. I couldn't go because obviously I had had a C-section, wasn't out and about yet, so Ivy's dad went with her. This is kind of where it really took a U-turn. Hang on a moment. Hello. So Ivy and her dad went into NICU and she got looked at. Ivy's dad come back and was like, it's okay, there's nothing to worry about, everything's fine. And I knew by the way he was acting, and I kind of knew anyway. I was like, it's not fine. I still don't know what the answer is, but I definitely know it's not okay. So, a little while later, Ivy and the midwife and paediatrician followed through, asked my family to step out, where they told us that basically Ivy has a cleft of her soft palate and part of her hard palate, but the part that's hard is so minimal it's not going to affect her in any way, so she doesn't need any sort of surgery on that part. However, she will need to have surgery on her soft palate. I will do another video explaining what cleft is. I will talk more about the palate side of things because I don't particularly know much about the hair lip, but I know what I'm going to say and it's going to kind of cover that sort of, but I just kind of want to speak to someone about, I just want to kind of speak, about this subject because this is what I know and this is what we're going through at the moment. So, yeah, they came back, sort of told us that, and it was straight away taken into special care and a tube up her nose. I do want to say, obviously, she doesn't have a tube up her nose now. Look, she's absolutely a little 4-month-old. But she did have a tube up her nose for, I think, over 24 hours. Because we had the Cleft team at St Thomas's come down and speak to us and show us a bottle. So the bottles that Ivy does have, they look like regular bottles, normal bottles, but they have a special stopper in them to let the milk go into the teat. And then the tea is special because when she bites onto it, it will just squirt into the back of her mouth. So yeah, it's all quite special because she can't suck, so it's all really good. This is one that she's just had. She literally just had a bottle, so you can see like there's the milk, and it won't go back into the bottle because there's a stopper there. And if I was to squeeze on it, which I won't do, I can do like a little video on that, but it will just squeeze straight out into her mouth instead of her having to suck on it. And that is the reason why the milk wouldn't go down when we were trying to feed her, because she just couldn't suck it out of the bottle. So she was given that bottle, and things have got a lot better since then. I will be doing more videos. I think I want to, because if I can help that one person that is kind of where I was as soon as I found out, and they can see my journey and see that it's going to be okay, I want to do that. Because when I found out about Ivy, the first thing I did was look online to see if I could find anything, and I really couldn't. It was mostly people in America, which things are very different over there. It was also people talking about it when there's been quite a period of time gone past. They've had their surgery and now they're talking about it and reflecting back. So I actually want to start here and kind of get to that point, and then after surgery, so you can see Ivy's progression, and that it can show you that if you're there, look where you can get to and how it's going to be okay. I will talk about those bad days that I have. I will talk about the good days that we have and go through it all. Ivy is just about to start eating, so we'll go through that. I'm sure when she starts eating and she goes then to sneeze, it's going to go absolutely everywhere out of her nose, and it's going to be so fun and really messy. But it's all the stuff that I really want that one person, if they find my page, to make them feel a little bit more at ease. So if you have any questions, please message me. Please ask away. I will be happy to answer any questions that you do have. Even if you don't have a baby with a cleft, but you just are interested in it and just want to know, please message me. I'm not going to be offended at anything that you need to ask, because it might be someone that you know that goes through it, and you've seen my video, and you can pass that information over to your friend so that they don't feel so alone. Because I tell you, it was awful. The only information I had was your baby's got a cleft, we're taking her into special care, we're putting a tube down her nose. I didn't know that anything else was going to happen. I didn't know that she was going to get this special bottle. I thought she was going to have a tube down her nose forever. I thought there was going to be so many other problems. I genuinely didn't know. So if I can make that one person feel a bit better, then I definitely am happy with that. So we are going to say goodbye because we've got to go on the school run now, haven't we? We've got to go and pick up your brother. And I hope you have a lovely day. And again, any questions, just ask. So bye. See ya.